Assalamu alaikum. I'm standing in downtown Indianapolis, and the guest in our show today is the mayor of the city of Indianapolis, Bart Peterson.
Thank you once again. It's really a pleasure to talk to you. I'm going to go straight away to our questions. My first question for you is that during your campaigns in the past, you charted out a series of improvements that you wanted to make in the city of Indianapolis, some reforms, and you called it the Peterson Plan.
Right.
Now, what were some of the main objectives of the Peterson Plan, and where does it stand today here in 2007?
Well, first of all, I'm pleased to say we're going to be doing another Peterson Plan and releasing it shortly for this election as well. But for 2003, when I ran for re-election the last time, we focused on a number of areas, but two of the most outstanding or the most important focuses were on education and neighborhood revitalization. And I'm pleased to say we've made a tremendous amount of progress on increasing the number of charter schools, which are public school options within the city of Indianapolis that are available for kids for whom the traditional district school, for one reason or another, doesn't work for them. It gives a choice and an option to parents, and I indicated back then that I wanted to see a significant increase and that we wanted to reach out and bring national models of successful charter schools to Indianapolis, and we've done exactly that. We now have 16 mayor-sponsored charter schools in Indianapolis with about 4,000 kids attending them right now. In the area of neighborhood revitalization, we wanted to build on the success of Fall Creek Place, which was not yet at that time. We didn't know the degree to which it would be a complete success. It has been a complete success. 500 new homes. One of the highest crime neighborhoods in Indianapolis now has become one of the most desirable neighborhoods in Indianapolis. It's racially mixed, it's economically diverse, and it's really a remarkable place. And we've done that with the Great Indian Neighborhoods program, trying to replicate some of the successes that we had in Fall Creek Place in neighborhood revitalization. We announced this program, I guess about a year and a half ago, and we've been able to raise a substantial amount of private money to support the planning exercises, bringing the communities together to plan for their future, and then find the resources to be able to improve the infrastructure in neighborhoods so that the rebirth of these neighborhoods can really flourish. And I feel very good about, there are just a couple of examples of things that I indicated were priorities of mine 4 years ago that we've worked very hard on and I think had great success in the last 4 years.
Okay. You mentioned the Charter School Initiative, and in 2006, Harvard University gave you the Innovation in American Government Award. It was, I think, awarded to the Charter Schools Initiative, the program. So, what were some of the concrete improvements or reforms, if you would call them that you brought between? Was it in the Indianapolis public schooling system, or was it the education system in general, all government, including a university?
Yeah, it's K through 12 education. Okay. So in other words, this is not dealing with higher education. Okay. It's solely dealing with providing options and alternatives in public school or in the public system to the traditional district schools. So it's outside. We have 11 public school districts in Marion County. The charter schools operate independently outside of those 11 districts, and they're not subject to most of the state rules and regulations regarding the length of school days and the way that schools have to operate. And they're also not subject to the control of the district. So they can be independent and provide, I believe, more creativity and innovation than is often available in the traditional districts. And so they provide those alternatives, yet they're public schools. They have to accept everybody. Right. They have to accept students regardless of academic ability, regardless of athletic ability. They're just like every other public school. And if they're oversubscribed, if more people want to go there than they have spaces, then they have a lottery to determine who attends. And the schools have been very successful. If you look back at the recent Indiana Department of Education statistics, it shows that of the 210 schools that they measured for improvement on passing the I-STEP test from 2005 to 2006, they measured 210 schools. Mayor-sponsored charter schools in Indianapolis finished in 5 of the top 10 positions in terms of improvement on ISTEP pass rate. So they have been very successful. And the reason we received the Harvard Award for Innovation in American Government is not just because these are successful charter schools. There are charter schools in most states around the country. I don't think most of them have had the success rate that we've had here, but there are charter schools elsewhere. But the distinguishing feature here that caused us to win the award is that I'm the only mayor in the country that has the ability to charter schools.
Okay.
And Harvard saw that as a program that was worth replicating. That this was something that the extra accountability that having the mayor be the chartering authority brings is something worth replicating across the country, and that's why they gave us the award.
Okay. All right. Now let's move towards sort of a different and a hotter topic. It seems like we are in the midst of sort of an outcry over the property tax issue that we saw this summer. There were people out there who were expecting, a 24% increase in their property taxes, and they saw a 50% increase, and there are some who say they saw a 200% increase. So when people are calling, the tax revenue assessment system as unfair or being inconsistent, what is your response to the situation as a whole?
Well, I think it clearly is. It clearly is unfair, and it clearly is inconsistent. What we've seen is a dramatic change in the whole property tax system over the last several years, but no bigger change than here in 2007. And it's been catastrophic for many people. They simply would not be able to survive if they had to pay those bills. They might have to go back to work if they were retired. They might not be able to retire if they're ready to retire. Might not be able to send a child to college. Might not be able to stay in their home. And so clearly this is a system that is broken. It's dysfunctional, and it needs to be either dramatically repaired or replaced entirely. And we could talk for hours about this issue, but to try to be as concise as possible, focusing on what we need to do to get out of this mess. I think every office every governmental office period, regardless of their contribution to the problem, needs to do whatever they can to try to lower the impact of property taxes. Much of what happened here is a shift from businesses paying the lion's share of property taxes to individuals, homeowners, paying the lion's share. So it's sort of a shift in the needle from the business side to the homeowner side, which had a huge impact.
Right.
We saw some changes in state policies that resulted in state expenditures being shifted down to local property taxpayers. And then we saw at the local level spending increase. About half of that was schools, and a big chunk of it was payments to the state for welfare, which we believe should be shared statewide. But the first step, I think, is reduction in government spending at all levels and in all governments. So far, the city of Indianapolis has stepped up to the plate. City and Marion County, we're the only ones I know of so far that have announced property tax cuts, very dramatic ones. We're cutting $50 million out of our property tax collection for 2008, and which is about an 11% reduction in what the city and county government together will collect in property taxes. We need to see the state cut back on its spending so it can take some of the responsibilities that our taxpayers are currently paying onto the state. Our property taxpayers are paying for some programs that should belong to the state. And then we need a radical reformation or even elimination of the entire assessment system, because nobody has faith in a system that can't tax equal houses, equally valued houses equally, and that would completely, in this case, as we've learned, ignore the assessed value increases on commercial and industrial property. They were not reassessed, and so homeowners end up paying the share that businesses should be paying for higher property tax assessments. So it's a dysfunctional system. It's broken. It either has to be significantly repaired or it has to be replaced entirely, because most people in the state have lost faith in the system right now. So reforming the system is key, but the first step has to be every level of government, every unit of government cutting back and seeing if they can reduce property taxes, as we've done in city and county government already.
Okay. Do you feel, though, that, again, in 2008, people will sort of, once again, face a similar situation, perhaps
No, I don't.
to a lesser degree?
No, I do not believe that. If